I am back with another edition of Friday Fandemonium. So this is basically one time during the week where I'm not ashamed to fangirl. Well, I'm never ashamed to fangirl. I love just celebrating things that have really meant something to me. So this is another opportunity for me to do that. And this time I am going to be discussing books that made me cry. Hi, Rachel. Oh, Rachel, you might be able to add a couple to this. I love a tearjerker. I always have. Um, Now, I don't like it when I'm left destroyed at the end of the book. I definitely want there to be some kind of redeeming quality to it. If I'm gonna cry, there better be a good reason for it, and it better end on a hopeful note, I guess. Um, Now, I will say I'm gonna share a bunch of books with you that I have enjoyed and that I've gotten a really great cry out of. Not all of these are clean. Not all of these end happily. So if that is a big deal to you, you might, and you're interested in one of the books, you can always send me a message and ask me, is this one going to leave me crying at the end of the book? Like Marley and Me was that example for me. I don't think I stopped crying for an hour after I finished reading that book. And then the same thing when the movie came out. I could not stop crying. So, yeah, there are some books that I will never revisit because of that. But I'm gonna get started. Here is my first one that I'm gonna share. The Lady and the Lionheart by Joanne Bischoff. This book, I wish I could give you, it's kind of glary. Um, if you love a story about a strong but wounded hero and the kind of love story where you just know that like they have to end up together or else you're going to be wrecked. This is the book for you. It takes place in, I don't know if it's the late 1800s, but it, or the early 1900s. I'm really bad about that kind of like that time period. I never know how to distinguish between it. But it's set around the circus, a traveling circus. So if you love strong but wounded and self sacrificing heroes, check out Charlie Lionheart in The Lady and the Lionheart. You'll love it, but you might cry. Okay, another one is Cold Mountain by Charles Frazier. I my One of my favorite tropes is the man and woman separated by war trying to find their way back to each other. I don't know what it is, but I will read every book that's out there like this. Man, I wish I could figure out how to like maneuver it so you guys could see the cover. This was one of the books where I watched the movie and then went back and read the book because I loved the movie so much. I wanted to learn more about the characters because, in general, you tend to get more characterization through a book just because you have more time and you have more pages. So, this was a really great one where you have the man and the woman's story, and the woman is trying to learn how to survive by herself on a farm during the war. So it's an excellent one. Ada in this is such a great heroine that I named my dog after her. My dog's name is Ada Elizabeth Corona Scout, after four of my favorite literary heroines, and Ada is one of them, and she's played by Nicole Kidman. Um, that is not Christian fiction, but it's not like terrible, so you could probably get away with reading it. Okay, this one, Those Who Save Us by Jenna Blum, I guess is how you say it. I believe my friend Heather Bailey recommended this to me 10 years ago. I don't even know when it came out. This is It's a story, and a lot of the stories have this dual timeline where you have someone during World War II and then you have present day. And it's about a mother and a daughter present day, and the daughter's trying to learn more about her mother's wartime past. And this book is a hard look at what it was like to live in Germany at the time of the war. And not everyone agreed with the war, not everyone agreed with the direction that the dictator was leading them. Um, and there were a lot of sacrifices that had to be made to survive and to help your loved ones survive. So this is super powerful book. And it's one of the books that left me like wrecked, but there was redeeming quality to it. And I learned a lot from it. And I learned a lot about myself in this. So this is a good one. Um, okay. And that is not, it's not a clean book. So just be careful when you're reading it. Of Mice and Men. This is one of my favorite books. I refer to this book all the time. And in fact, in This Wandering Heart, Kira and Robbie talk about Of Mice and Men a lot and use it almost to tell Kira's story. So if you're probably familiar with this book, but it is fabulous. I highly recommend it if you haven't read it. And look, it's like one of the few classic pieces of literature that's not very long. So if you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. Just have tissues nearby. Okay, Dancing with Fireflies. Ah, this is one of my favorite heroes that's ever been written. Daniel Dawson, who is a mayor, and he is a total like he's like the oldest brother type, where he just always wants to take care of everybody. And he helps out Jade when she ends up pregnant and alone. And you guys, when I was reading this book, I would be reading it and I would get so overcome with joy and like positive emotion that I could feel my heart beating, like trying to beat out of my chest. And there is makeup splotches on the top of the book because I would do one of these and I would just like smack myself in the forehead with the book as I let my heartbeat settle down so that I could keep reading. And it was all good stuff. It was so much good cry. If you like a good cry where you're just so full of happy emotion and it's perfect. So, Dancing with Fireflies by Janice Hunter. This is the second book in her McKinley family series, which is technically the Chapel Springs series. But you could probably read this one first and then go back and read Barefoot Summer, or you could read Barefoot Summer 2, which is another great book. Okay. Things Left Unsaid by Courtney Walsh is about a group of friends who come together. They reunite after, I think it's 10 years apart, for like a special anniversary to celebrate their friend who had passed. And it's several different love stories all put into one. It's mother daughter relationships. It's, friend relationships. It's really, really powerful. And it's probably my favorite book by Courtney Walsh. So this is a great one. I know. I know. I could probably put this book on every single list that I try to come up with. Redeeming Love by Francine Rivers brings out every single emotion anyone could ever feel. Hatred, there is a character that I absolutely hate in this book. There are characters I love. There's frustration. There is so much joy at seeing the character arcs that exist in this book. It's a long book. So read Of Mice and Men, knock that out on your Goodreads list, and then take some time and read this one. And you'll want to take your time and read this one because every word is gold. So, there was a couple that I couldn't find because I'm extremely disorganized and messy, and I'm trying to whittle down my books. But I don't understand because these are books I do not get rid of. But Outlander, not clean, not clean. So either pass or you have to absolutely be ready to like flip out open if or flip past pages and scenes. But Outlander is my favorite love story that's ever been written. um there's just other parts that also, you know I need a clean Outlander. If there could be like a clean Outlander book out there, let me know because I would love to read it. But um, Atonement, another not clean book. It is by Ian McEwan. It was another example where I saw the movie first and wanted to know more about the characters. And so I went back and I read the book. The movie was an Oscar contender back in, I think it was 2007, and had Keira Knightley and James McAvoy in it. It's another two lovers separated by war trying to get back to each other. Um, so again, all the tears. And then, so I mentioned The Lady and the Lionheart. Joanne Bischoff also has a series that starts with Sons of Blackbird Mountain, and then its sequel is Daughters of Northern Shores. And I don't know that I have cried that much reading a book in the past 2 years as I did with both of those because they are so like rooted in so much emotion that even if you are not living in 1800s Virginia, you still feel everything that the characters are going through. Joanne just has this amazing way of being able to do that. Okay, and then my last one is Crime and Punishment. Now, this is my high school copy of this book. I had to read this in 11th grade. And as you can tell, I marked it up really. I mean, I have post-its, I have quotes written in the back. This book meant more to me than I think any other book that I've ever read, other than the Bible. Um, because I was going through a really hard time in my life when I read this book, my junior year of high school. And there is this amazing scene where pretty much a prostitute is sharing the gospel with a murderer. And the way that she is able to describe, she actually describes Lazarus rising from the dead. And if you ever want to feel like the true Jesus Christ wants to have a relationship with us, and it's not about religion, it's about how much care and love he has for us no matter what we've done in our life. That is the scene that you would want to read. And that is probably why I consider myself a Christian now, is because that scene was so powerful to me. And oh, yes, I cried a lot. So, this is a great one. And people don't really talk about this book very much. Again, it is not clean. I mean, I'm pretty sure somebody gets murdered with a hatchet or something in this or bludgeoned. I mean, it is not it is not a clean book. But again, every tear that you cry is worth it by the end. So that is my list. I could share my own books because, and if you're an author, you know this. I have cried over my characters more than I should probably admit because it would make me seem crazy. But yes, I could share my own books. Oh my goodness, because I have cried along with my characters in every scene. So okay, that's my list. I'm sure there are others that I have forgotten, but if you have any books that you have enjoyed because of the amount of emotion it brought out in you, please tell me in the comments. I would love to hear them. And if I haven't read them, I would definitely like to, get my hands on that book and experience the same thing that you experienced. So, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time. If you're in Texas, please stay warm. I was worried about even doing this because it just seems you know, insensitive when so many people are without power, without water. Um, but, I figured that because I was talking about books that about characters who are going through a hard time, maybe it would be worth it. So if you are in Texas or the South where you don't have power, please stay safe. Please stay safe if you are maybe some of you have corona right now. Please just stay safe, and I appreciate you guys, and I will talk to you later. Oh, and I didn't even see that you guys were still commenting. I thought I was just here by myself. Sorry. I'll get back and comment in a few minutes. But thank you guys so much for showing up.